So I've made it 11 days so far. What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and it's day 11 of my Samsung Galaxy Note Challenge. Now, if you haven't followed along in this video coverage, what I'm doing is carrying the Galaxy Note for 30 days as part of a test. Can I handle the size? Can I handle the change? You know, I go back and forth between devices all the time, but what I like to do is kind of put it to the test and carry something for 30 days because A, it gives me a better indication of what the device is like so I can communicate that to you, and so you know that, well, he's using Android and Windows Phone and iOS and all these other, BlackBerry platform and Migo. I'm using a bunch of these different platforms as opposed to sticking with one. I like to round it out. So anyway, I'm on day 11 of the Samsung Galaxy Note Challenge. I'll tell you, I've gotten used to the size at least. I mean, it's big. It's not going to get any smaller. I've kind of gotten over the size thing and gotten over the looks. It's been a great conversation piece. I actually just went to lunch today and took a 20-minute break to go to lunch, and I was in a restaurant picking up a sandwich, and the lady that was making my sandwich was like, "What is that? Is that a phone?" So I was able to say, "Hey, it's Galaxy Note." And it's coming to AT&T on the 19th. So you'll notice actually that I switched over to the AT&T version. You can see the logo there, you can see the buttons, the capacitive buttons at the bottom. I switched over to it, and that's going to be the Note that I carry for the rest of the 30-day challenge. So this brings in some new fun because A, this one has 4G LTE connectivity, so it's going to be interesting to see how the battery life holds up with a power-hungry technology like LTE, even though the battery is still 2,500 milliamp hours. So it's a big battery, but will it be able to hold up to AT&T's 4G LTE connectivity demands? That'll be interesting. Also, it's packing a different processor. It's packing a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon processor, which, and some of the reviewers and some of my colleagues that work for different sites are disagreeing with me on this. Actually, we were talking about it on Twitter earlier. This is the first Snapdragon-enabled Samsung. Usually the Exynos devices run a little bit faster, at least seem to be a little bit more smooth. This is the first one that I've worked with where I find that the Snapdragon-based one seems to be more responsive than the Exynos one. In other words, this one, the AT&T version, seems to be faster so far to me and just more fluid and smooth than the international version, which is packing a dual-core Exynos processor at 1.4 gigahertz. Otherwise, LTE connectivity will be fun to test. So far, so good. It's been nice and fast. And I'll show you the S Pen as well because I've been having a lot of fun with the S Memo capabilities of this device. Of course, you can use the pen to navigate through the device and use it on the capacitive screen, but I'm really enjoying the S Memo functionality because I have a friend that I've been sending, actually a couple of friends, I'd say 4 or 5 friends that I've been sending. I have 4 or 5 friends, isn't that exciting? That I've been sending note pictures back and forth to. And they've been smiling. They're like, "This is hilarious." So instead of sending a message that says, "Meet me here," I just for fun, like I had coffee with a friend the other day, and instead of circling instead of sending her a message and saying, "Let's meet here," I circled it on the map and sent her the picture. I was like, "Let's meet here." So it's just a fun way to communicate as opposed to sending a text message, and I'm finding that it's actually pretty useful and enjoyable. So let's go over here and change this. And so, of course, I can draw on the screen and do things like that. And that's pretty cool because you can take screenshots as well. You can take a picture of an email, circle it, do some changes. So it's great, obviously, for class and for meetings. But class meetings, that's all well and good. But I use it for fun stuff like this and just killing time when I'm not working. So it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it. And getting used to the S Pen. It's one of those functionalities, or one of those features, rather, when I started, I was like, I'm not really going to use this. It's kind of pointless. But I've actually just kind of found it fun over the course of the challenge. Like I said, I've been sending pictures back and forth. So that's pretty neat as well. I'm finding it's a pretty decent email machine because of the size of the display. The one challenge I am having, I'm still having some issues with keyboard input just because the display is so big. I did notice my typing's just slowed down. I've had to accept the fact that I cannot type. For whatever reason, I can't type as fast on this device as I can on other devices. The screen is just too large and the travel from one area to the other just takes too long. Now, I know that sounds stupid and I know it sounds funny when you're texting something like yes or no or see you there. It doesn't make a huge difference, but when you're texting like a 1 or 2 text message response, you're like, "Hey, how are you? I hope things are well. How's the business meeting going? What time's the conference call? That sounds great. I'll talk to you soon." When you're texting a long message, it really does make a difference. And I've downloaded a couple keyboards. I actually don't care for the Samsung keypad. Samsung does a lot of great things. I don't care for their keyboard. I don't think it's the best in the market. But I did download the Ice Cream Sandwich keyboard, and actually on the AT&T version, it comes with the Android keyboard as well, as you can see there. But I've downloaded this Ice Cream Sandwich keyboard for free from the Android market, and of course Samsung's, if you do like it, comes pre-installed and then swipe as well. Still, like I said though, it's getting pretty hard to get used to the keypad stuff, when you're doing a long message. If it's a quick one, "Hey, how are you? Yes, cool, meet you there," it's perfectly fine, but the longer ones are a little bit more little bit more frustrating. You can also see, like I said, on the AT&T version, you've got the 4 capacitive buttons down at the bottom. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but after using the international version for 11 days, I keep looking for that physical button, the physical home button to press when I'm done with whatever it is I'm doing. Otherwise, pretty similar here. I mean, there's some minor changes, some minor icon changes. If you're like me, though, you like those little kind of nerdy changes like that, like in the messaging icon at the bottom, you notice is different. It's kind of optimized that typical AT&T messaging look as opposed to the stock one that comes with TouchWiz 4.0. You also notice the LTE logo up at the top, and then 5 signal strength bars instead of 4. And then on the back, you'll see Galaxy Note as opposed to the Samsung logo. And of course, AT&T loves to sit up there in that left-hand corner with the network ID, and then you'll notice in the notifications bar the date is now what's there instead. So some minor changes, but still getting used to the device. Like I said, the size, pretty much adjusted to that. It is what it is. It's a big device. It's going to always be big. So I've gotten used to, as much as I can, used to the device, the size of it. Battery life's going to be fun to test over the next couple of days, so be on the lookout for the next update, because I've been really pleased with battery life, and if you followed any of the other videos, you know that I've talked about it and been very pleased with how long it's made it through the day. Don't know if it'll be the case with the LTE one, because LTE is a power hawk, so it'll be kind of fun to see. So stay tuned for the next video to see a bunch of different things. Can I make it with the battery life? Can I still get used to the keyboard input? Is the AT&T one as good as the international version? Stay tuned. I'll let you know in the next video.